Timmins, James
Thank you,
Bay.
Mr. Speaker. There was a very clear vetting process for choosing the vice chair of broadcast for the CRTC, and Mr. Pentefountas failed on every count. Because if you look at the standards, he doesn't meet the qualifications. He doesn't have the quasi-judicial experience. He doesn't have the senior level management background with the experience in broadcast and cultural policy. What he does have is a calling card that he's a good friend of the Director of Communications for the Prime Minister, Dimitri Soundas. This appointment stinks. So would the minister explain why they have broken the rules and politically tainted the quasi-judicial standing of the CRTC with this partisan appointment?
The Honourable Minister of Canadian Heritage.
They smear Gwen Morgan. They attack Nigel Wright. They attack Tom Pentefountas. These are outstanding people who will do a great job in the civil service. We need to draw good people into public life, Mr. Speaker. Tom Pentefountas, he says he doesn't have experience. Another way of saying that, Mr. Speaker, is that he has no conflicts of interest. He's not wedded to any of the stakeholders who come before the CRTC, who are dealing with important issues of convergence and copyright, dealing with issues of digital transition. He doesn't have any of those conflicts of interest. He's a qualified, effective, bilingual, thoughtful person who will do a great job at the CRTC.
The Honourable Member for Timmins, James Bay.
Oh, Mr. Speaker, the contempt for due process is so obvious it's wafting off the benches. This government has intervened and undermined again and again in the CRTC, but in the case of Pentefountas, they not only broke the vetting process, they did it with the direct intervention of the PMO. So now we have the political strings of the Prime Minister directly at the senior level of the CRTC. Tom Pentefountas is not qualified for this post. He has no independent, credible standing to oversee a body that deals with $60 billion industry. Why has this government undermined the CRTC and not followed the fair process in place to ensure an adequate candidate with regulatory backup?
Order the Honourable Minister of Canadian Heritage.
The member for Timmins, James Bay, talks about undermining the CRTC. Last week, this member asked this government to interfere in 2 different CRTC decisions. He talks about the importance of the independence of the CRTC, but he's asking this government to get more involved in the CRTC's daily affairs than ever before, Mr. Speaker. Tom Pentefountas will do an outstanding job, Mr. Speaker. And when he talks about credibility of representation, this is the member of Parliament who in 2004, 06, 08 ran telling his constituents he would vote to abolish the long gun registry. He turned his back on his constituents, and he dares get up in the House and actually attack other people's credibility. He has no legs to stand on. He has no credibility.